Yeah, because everything I said at the beginning of this podcast about the fact that you get what you deserve from the universe. If you're the kind of man who deserves 20 children, you're going to get them. And if you're the kind of man who doesn't, you're not. I mean, if you're going to sit there and listen to and not be able to find a female to have your progeny, that's your problem. And if the female you're with and spend every day with and walk around IKEA with, picking out fucking towels, won't give you as many kids as you want, well, then you're a dipshit. That's, again, your problem. It's not my problem, but it's their problem. And I'm just saying, when I was talking from a geopolitical standpoint. I understand why women watching this will sit and say, well, why should I just have children? Have children with who? None of these men want to take care of me. And then we go down the other rabbit hole of why men want to take care of women in the first place. Men want to protect women when they see innocence and naivety and they find that attractive and they want to protect it from the outside world. A man wants to find a woman and say, you don't understand the world. I'm going to protect you and I'm going to provide for you. And I'm not going to allow you to go out there and be coarsened by the earth. I'm not going to allow you to be scarred. If they meet a woman who's already coarsened, they have no interest in protecting and providing for her.
Does the fact that, females have inherently raised their promiscuity in the world, does that's affected a lot of this, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Because
the market value of a quote unquote female would go down if she's been more promiscuous.
Well, yeah, she's been coarsened by life. Her heart's not the same as it was. A woman only falls in love once or twice. After that, it's just pay the bills. So she doesn't love the same. This is what's so interesting about the feminism movement, because feminism, what has it given women? Truthfully, what has it given? Before feminism, a man met a woman, they got married. The man had an obligation to take care of that woman. Even if they argued, whatever. She got pregnant. She went to a house. He had an obligation to take care of her. He wasn't allowed to just fuck around and have all these girls. Feminism gave men that access. By telling women they can choose to do whatever they want and remove their obligations to be housewives and have children, they said, now you can do whatever you want. Well, now women are sitting there going, I can do whatever I want. We all want that guy. Well, then that guy gets all the choice. So now that guy gets to share you all. That was feminism's result. Feminism put women in a position now where they have two choices. They can go and compete against men in the workforce and lose. We can do DEI hires. We can give them HR jobs. We can pretend that they work, but they don't. They'll never get rich like a man will. Or they can go and try and compete for the best men on the planet who have unlimited choice with younger and more beautiful women forever. So feminism's put women in a very difficult position. It was easier before feminism when they knew they had an obligation to just get married and that man had an obligation to take care of them. The whole point of marriage, you talk about promiscuity, the whole point of marriage in the first place was a very simple business transaction. I'll take care of you for the rest of your life, but you're going to listen to me, you're going to give me children, and you haven't been with any other man. That's the deal. If you're coming along as a woman saying, I've been with loads of other men, I'm not going to give you kids, and I don't listen to no man. Well, who is going to marry you? There's no trend. That's why marriage is gone, right? So you're right. We have two different competing sides. As a man, what's the most intelligent move you can make on the chessboard? Let's forget everything I've said that's offended everybody, and let's just approach this as professionals, as thinkers. You're a man. If you tie yourself to one woman, she can financially destroy you. That doesn't sound logical. Why would you do that if you already have sexual access to her? You already have sexual access to her. She's been with a bunch of men before you. She can't truly fall in love anymore because she's had too much heartbreak, because that's what happens. Every single time a woman sleeps with a guy and she doesn't stay with him, she gets a little bit more cold. You're not going to risk your entire net worth on that. You also, if you're the kind of person who's successful, you have access to not only her, you have access to a bunch of females that pretty much look the same as her. You know that you're going to be attractive to females for the next 25 years. She's only attractive for the next 5 or 6 years. And she's saying she won't give you as many children as you want. Why on earth would a man be loyal to or get married to any of these women ever? This is a logical conversation, because I ask women, what do you offer? Oh, but I'm me. Okay, that's the narcissism they have to operate within, with their head in the clouds, because they can't answer the question correctly. What do you offer a man enough to make him want to dedicate his life and fortune to you? Now, if you have some exclusives, I've never been on a private jet before. I've never been in a Lamborghini before. I've never been on holiday without my family. I haven't slept with anyone. Fine, now the man gets something that other men haven't got. But even you and I know, as the masculine imperative, we don't want what other men have had. We don't want a used car. We want a new car.
Damages its value.
That's right.
But you say about their narcissism saying, oh yeah, but you get me. But what about them saying that you'd be a narcissist by saying what you're saying right now?
Well, the reason I'm sure they would. And I've been called narcissist a few times, believe it or not. But the difference is, a man protects and provides. He gives genuine provision, which can be measured in the materialistic world.
I think what you're trying to say is here.
No, what I'm trying to say is, A woman will say, you get me. And you'll say, what does that mean? And she'll go, I send you funny TikToks. Great. You get me. What does that mean? Your rent's paid. You're on jets. You get to fly around the world. Any problem you have, I fix it. You're physically safe. Like, there's a list of real things if you're with a billionaire man. Whereas a woman is just a you get me. What does she give you? She gives you sex, back rubs, some happy messages, which is nice. I'm not saying that's insignificant. I'm not even saying that's unimportant. I'm saying that most women can't even explain to you why they're a catch. They just go through life only being judged by their looks. That's all they have, their looks. That's all they want to have, their looks. They keep sleeping with guys and they don't realize why it doesn't work out until they become heartless and bitter, and then they chase the bag and try and just get some money before they get old and ugly. That's just what happens. Feminism did that.
In terms of a man's value and a woman's value, from your perspective, what are the prime ages for a man and what are the prime ages for a woman?
I think men are more attractive when they are wiser and established. I mean, what does a woman find attractive in a man? She finds charisma and security and financial capability, wisdom, knowledge, humor. All of these things take time to build. So men are more attractive, and they're probably the most attractive 35 to 50 maybe. Whereas what does a man find attractive in a woman? Naivety, innocence, fertility, inexperience, innocence. Innocence is the key one. Men love an innocent woman. They don't want a woman who understands the game too well. They love innocence. But women don't stay innocent for very long because men fuck them over. And life fucks them over. I'm not being anti-women. I'm just commenting. So a woman's going to be attractive younger than a man is.
And what you've just said there is so true, because the woman got damaged because ultimately a man fucked them over.
100%.
So it goes back to our point originally, which is like, ultimately it falls down to the male responsibility to set the standard.
Well, this is the point. No. I'm going to argue with that. Because we talk about the male responsibility to set the standard. I'm going to argue with that because it's only feminism that allowed this shit to happen in the first place. She wouldn't have been fucked over if she married a man at 18 and her and that man stayed together forever like they used to. Feminism giving them these choices and opening up society to a sexual free-for-all.
But feminism wasn't created by women, was it?
Well, we can go down the Jewish question. We can if you want to get banned. If you want to get banned. No, but feminism is embraced by females. Every single female you ask, she'll say, I'm a feminist. And I'm saying if you ask them, what has feminism given you? They can't answer.
I understand the whole narrative, but let's just focus on that initial question. Me and you both know that feminism wasn't created by women, it was taught to women. And the people that created feminism were male, right?
Yep.
You agree?
Yep.
So it's a male problem, regardless of race or whoever created it.
No,
me and you both know where that came from.
But it's not a problem. I'm not talking about it as a problem. I'm just commenting on society as I see it. It's not a problem for the top tier men. The situation I've just designed and just described.
It is a problem for the 90% of men that
can't. It's a problem for the men who can't compete, but it's absolutely fantastic at the top.
Yeah.
You get unlimited sexual access with no time commitment, no obligations. It's absolutely fantastic at the top. Of course it is. And just like it's pretty good to be a pretty woman. It's just harder for the other ones. I mean, that's the game, right? What I'm saying is the idea that when we were just talking about a woman getting screwed over by life and losing her innocence, completely. But feminism allowed this to happen. Feminism has just opened up the world to a sexual free-for-all. And this sexual free-for-all doesn't benefit women because birth rate's plummeting. It doesn't even benefit society. Now, I'm sitting here as a person who would genuinely not like to live in a very strictly monogamous society. So I'm not even talking about myself. I'm not preaching. I'm just commenting on society as it is.
At what age did monogamy start or stop making sense to you?
I don't think it ever made sense. I don't think it makes sense to any man, biologically.
But you're taught it from a young age. Like my mum and dad have been married for 44 years. I think the days of that happening now are gone.
Well, that's right, because you have culture and you have biology, and they're different things. I think masculine biology is different. I think also top tier males have always been the same way. Even back in the day when we talk about monogamy, kings have always had multiple wives. Kings have always had mistresses. Kings always have. So again, it depends where you are in the pecking order.
How many wives did your dad have, though?
Say again?
How many wives did your dad have?
I have no idea. I'm sure he was busy. I mean, he wasn't home very much. But, I mean, I'll talk to a dude and he'll be like, I love my wife. I don't want anyone else. That's fantastic. That's great. Then that's your prerogative. I'm not telling you have to go fuck. But the truth about people who say that most of the time is that they can't. Remember, I used to have my webcam business, right? I used to be involved in this industry. The worst men on the planet are the loyal husbands. The man will sit there and go, I love my chick, I'm loyal. The second she goes to bed, he's logging into all these websites that go to the most fucked up shit possible. Because biologically, he actually wants more and he can't get it. There's a huge confusion in the world today between men who are loyal because they say they want to be loyal and men who are loyal because they have no choice. If you go into a store that sells bananas and that's all it sells and you buy a banana, you can't say you like bananas. There's no options. If you go into a store that sells everything and you walk out with a banana every day, then you can say you're loyal. Most men who are loyal physically simply have no options. The men who do have options are different. And I will tell you something about females, especially the ones who are smart. There are women out there who say, look, I would rather be with a man who is honest, who is open, who I know is not going to fall head over heels with some chick just because her tits are big and she's a little bit young, who I know loves me because I've stood by his side for 10 years, even if he's not sexually exclusive. Then I go be with some Mr. Nice Guy, hold hands, Mr. Romantic, I'm loyal to my wife, and the second he gets a bit of female attention, he disappears. Because that's what they all do. Those are the ones who fall in love with side chicks. Real G's don't. So this whole idea of what is loyalty? Let's break it down. We're having a conversation now about loyalty and how it affects society.
Guys, over the last 5 years, you've watched me travel around the world building this podcasted in 9 countries with over 200 entrepreneurs. And one of the key things that I've learned is that every single one of these successful people have a playbook. They have a play-by-play of how they're going to operate their life, their mindset and everything else so they can scale. So they can scale their money, their business, their life and everything. I want to break that down for you. So what I've done is I've set up a weekly email that's going to be going live week in, week out, giving you a play-by-play of some of the most top entrepreneurs in the world so you can understand how they're executing on their plan so you can execute on it too. If this is something that interests you, click the link, sign up to the email below, and that'll be coming out weekly.
Well, we need to be professional and go back a level. What is loyalty? Is a man loyal to his wife when he's logging into porn every night? Is a man loyal to his wife when he wants to fuck something and can't? Is he loyal because his dick doesn't go anywhere, but by her discretion as opposed to his own? All these men saying, I'm loyal to my wife. You're a fucking dork, bro. You couldn't get a chick if your life depended on it. When your wife leaves you and you start trying to message these girls on Insta, you're going to get blanked. You're probably messaging them already. You're loyal to your wife because no one's replied to your DMs. That's not loyal. You're just failing.
How would you tell them to change the narrative?
No, but this is what I was so interested